Hi, and welcome back to my Nana's Apron. It's snowy out. We decided to make something different because Thanksgiving, the pumpkin pies are all over the place, and we decided instead for Christmas this year we would serve a pumpkin bundt cake that is like a pound cake. And I'm going to be putting a glaze on the top when it's cool, and that's going to be a brown sugar pecan glaze over the top. So I'll show you how to do it. Okay, first of all you'll need 1 cup of butter. Now in my case, because I'm dairy free, I'm using the Country Crock plant-based butter, but if you don't have an affliction to dairy, then just use regular butter. Second of all, we want a cup of brown sugar and a cup of regular sugar. Now, I thought that was too much sugar, so I replaced the white with an artificial monk fruit sweetener. So that's going to bring the sugar level down a little bit. I still wanted that brown sugar for taste. You're going to blend the mixer and get all this to where it's in a creamy state. Start out slow or you'll have butter all over your kitchen. And as you can see, it's clumping up in the beater, but that'll go away once I speed up the speed. It'll start flying off. But we got to start out this way or else you're going to have a big mess. Just get it kind of combined, and then we'll up the speed a little bit. Okay, I'm going to scrape some of this butter off the beater. Just get your sugar and butter partly combined. Doesn't have to be perfect. First of all, I broke down the butter and the sugar in the first part. Second of all, I have the wet ingredients coming. So here's what we do. I need 1 can of pumpkin. And this is a 15 ounce. I thought there might have been a decimal on the end. And this is just regular pumpkin. It's not pumpkin pie mix. Get that all in there. Yeah, we decided we wanted something different for Christmas. And we had the pumpkin pies and the mini pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving. And they were very popular, let me tell you. The kids loved the little mini pumpkin pies. It was just their size. Okay, next we have 4 eggs, room temperature, that I've already beaten up a little bit with a fork. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We have 1 tablespoon of pumpkin pie spice mix and a pinch of salt. Now you can make your own pumpkin pie spice. If you want to learn how to do that, just let me know and I'll put a video on. We're going to do this first. Okay, we're going to get it to this stage where the eggs have been incorporated, but I do want to take the spatula, go around the bowl, because I know that there's butter and sugar sticking on the edges of this bowl. So I'm going to do that, and then we got to mix it again to make sure all those escapees, I call them escapees, are blended. Okay, now we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, and next we have the flour. So I'm gonna slowly add this in as recommended, because if you add too much flour in there and you start your mixer, believe me, you'll have a mess in your kitchen. So I'm going to slowly incorporate it. This is gluten-free flour. Use whatever flour you like as far as it's gluten-free. And if your flour does not have xanthan gum or another rising substance, put 3/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum in your mix. My flour already has it in there. Read your labels so you know what you're eating. Okay. We got a little bit more flour to go, and I did measure this flour in the measuring cups, and then I put it in this glass measuring cup so it'd be easier to get into the bowl. These bowls don't leave much room for adding things. There goes the last batch of the flour. Whoa, see what I mean? Now here's a little thing about gluten-free flours. In regular flours, they tell you not to beat it too long. You'll form too much gluten, and it'll make it tough and all that stuff. With gluten-free flour, you don't have gluten, so you can beat it until you feel that it's pretty well mixed. One more go, guys. Okay, we'll be back in a minute. I forgot an item. Go figure, when you hit 70 years old, your memory starts going. I have a cup of what we would call buttermilk, but because we have a dairy-free problem, it's going to be almond milk with a tablespoon of white vinegar stirred in. And you let that sit for about 5 minutes, and it starts giving it the texture of buttermilk. Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes. Now I sprayed my bundt pan with the spray oil. You want to stay away from the spray oil that has the flour in it, or you'll get sick. So make sure you don't buy that. And I'm going to put this in the bundt pan. It's very thick. And I have let this mixture rest for a few minutes. Gluten-free flour needs to rest because it needs that moisture to be absorbed by the flours. So don't be in a rush. Let it sit there for at least 5 minutes. And from what I'm seeing right now, it sure is a lot different than when I got done with the beaters. The reason I'm going around the bundt pan is I want it to be even. But we're going to smooth this out anyway, so you just have to make sure that the batter's even in the pan. And then we're going to put it in an oven that is 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 70 minutes. Now, I'm sure that you all know how to taste your cake with whatever means you use. I use toothpicks. I would start testing it at 60 minutes. If it's still real battery, let it go another 10 minutes. If you go in at 70 and it's still got batter on the toothpick, go in 5-minute increments. The only thing you don't want to keep opening the oven, so I'm sure it won't get that far for you. Okay, now I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to take this and just go around like this. Reason I picked a bundt pan, you can put this in any cake pan you want. You could put it in cupcake form, but I picked the bundt can because it's kind of fancy for Christmas. Now I got to do this because I'm noticing one side is higher than the other. Go around, get it all in there. Then when it's done, we need to let it cool. And I'll tell you more about that later. I'm going to put it in the oven now. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, we're going to make the glaze for the cake. And we're going to start out with half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick. And this, of course, this is plant-based butter. And to me it tastes just as good as regular. But, and here's the point, you have to taste each one of them to make sure that you like them or you don't. I mean, this is the olive oil of the Country Crock, and I know they have a couple other like almond and something else. and I prefer the olive oil. So it's up to you. I'm going to turn the burner on. Let it start heating up and melting. In the meantime, I'm going to add half a cup of brown sugar. Now, of course, you could use your artificial sugar. This is regular. And then I have a teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla. If you have imitation, that's fine. And then I have 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then I have 2 tablespoons of milk. Now this is almond milk. And let me get this started. What you want to do is start cooking this. You don't want to cook it on high. And in fact, to get it started, I have it on 9 on my stove. And I need to cut that down a little bit too. Let's go 7. Because we don't want this to burn. And just keep melting your butter. Once it comes up to a boil, we're going to let it boil for 5 minutes. Of course, you want to make sure it's not a really big boil. And what I mean by that is, if you look in your pan and it's boiling like crazy, you don't want that high. You want to bring the heat down to where it's just boiling a little bit, because that's all you need anyway. So I'm going to melt this down. It's starting to boil. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Five minutes, we'll have it boiling. What this does is it thickens it into a syrup-like consistency. I'll turn it down a little bit more. Stir it again. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, this has boiled for 5 minutes, and as you can see, it's on a low, I should say simmer, not boil. And then I have a half a cup of chopped nuts here, and I can't tell a lie. This is supposed to be a pecan topping, but I checked the pecans I had, and because I had them for a year, they weren't any good anymore. I should have kept them in the freezer or the refrigerator, but I just don't have room. Anyway, I'm using mixed nuts. Now this is a Plan B. This is what you do when you're cooking. Plan B is what you go to if you don't have what you need and it's an emergency and you need it right now. So I'm going to sit this to the side, and after our bundt cake cools down a little bit more, we'll be putting this over the top of it. Okay, this has cooled down quite a bit. I'm going to take my knife, butter knife, and go around the edges to ensure that this thing's going to come out of the pan. So I just want to loosen it up all the way around. Even around the center. have to watch I'm not scratching my bud pan, because it's supposed to be non-stick. Okay, I need a lot of wishes and a lot of good luck to do this. I'm going to try to be fast. The way the days have been going, I'll probably end up. It came out. I can't believe it. Yeehaw! Applause, please. I was so worried about that. Okay, now I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back. Okay, I poured the syrup all over our cake, and it looks really, really good. And I'll come back and show you the taste test. Okay, I cut a piece of it, and I just want to taste it to tell you how good it is. I can already tell how good it is. And I got those nuts over it. It's sinful. It's really sinful. But it's a success, even if it's not almonds. The other nuts are just fine. In January, I'm going to start doing tips and tricks on the end of my videos. Some of them are going to be kitchen hacks. The other ones are just going to be what I learned over my years of safety. And maybe some makeup tips or something like that. So I'm going to head for the new year with bells on, and I want to see you later. Bye.